Patrick Bateman, American Psycho. Patrick Bateman is a handsome, impeccably groomed Wall Street investment banker in 1980s New York, obsessed with designer suits, perfect business cards, and superficial status. Beneath his polished exterior lies a profound emotional void that drives him to extreme violence as the only way to feel anything. He frequently lures prostitutes or colleagues to his luxury apartment under false pretenses, then subjects them to prolonged torment. In one horrifying sequence, he attacks two women with a nail gun after hours of manipulation, their blood spraying across his designer furniture as he later dismembers the bodies with power tools and stores severed heads in his refrigerator. He also stabs a homeless man repeatedly on a cold street, then turns his sadistic rage on the man's small dog in a random act of cruelty. Another infamous moment involves hacking a jealous rival colleague to death with an axe, the blade repeatedly sinking into flesh and bone in a frenzy. Bateman casually confesses his crimes to friends and police, yet no one believes him in his shallow world. His evil stems from complete numbness. He reduces human life to something as disposable as a stained tie, highlighting how unchecked privilege and materialism can hollow someone into a remorseless predator. Tuco Salamanca. Tuco Salamanca is a volatile, meth-fueled cartel enforcer in the American Southwest, with wild eyes and an explosive temper that makes every encounter life-threatening. He rules his territory through sheer intimidation, viewing allies and enemies alike as disposable. In one shocking outburst during a drug deal, when his associate No-Dose innocently finishes one of his sentences, Tuco beats the man to death with his bare fists, pummeling his face until bones crack and blood flows freely, then kicking the corpse in rage. He cripples two young skateboarders who disrespected his grandmother by savagely breaking their legs and abandoning them bleeding in the desert heat. Tuco also assaults elderly Mike Ehrmantraut over a minor traffic incident and shoots his own longtime associate Dog Paulson point-blank in the face with a shotgun. The blast creating a gruesome scene. He kidnaps Walter White and Jesse Pinkman, subjecting them to repeated beatings, including smashing Jesse's face into the floor while forcing them into terrified submission. Tuco's evil is raw, uncontrolled rage. Violence is his default response to any slight, turning the criminal underworld into a constant bloodbath of fear and betrayal. Dutch van der Linde, Red Dead Redemption 2. Dutch van der Linde leads a gang of outlaws in the fading American Wild West, initially charismatic and philosophical as he preaches freedom, loyalty, and robbing the rich for the greater good. As pressure mounts, his paranoia transforms him into a ruthless tyrant who justifies any atrocity for the plan. During the chaotic Blackwater ferry robbery, he coldly shoots the innocent young woman Heidi McCourt point-blank in the head, the bullet tearing through her skull and leaving her eye hanging by a thread with brain matter splattered across the wall before tossing her body aside. Later, when a woman demands payment and pulls a knife, he chokes her to death, squeezing until she stops struggling and dismissing her as a future betrayer. Dutch drowns the crime boss Angelo Bronte in a lake after taunting him, then feeds the body to alligators that rip into the flesh in a horrific feast. He also executes the powerful industrialist Leviticus Cornwall with a single chest shot during a tense standoff. Throughout, Dutch manipulates his loyal gang, leading them into deadly heists and moral compromises, while claiming it's all for their benefit. His evil is cloaked in false idealism. He becomes the very monster he once railed against, leaving trails of blood and shattered loyalty. Homelander, the boys. Homelander is the golden, star-spangled leader of the Seven, a corporate superhero team. Lab-created and emotionally starved, he projects perfect patriotism while harboring a narcissistic god complex and deep contempt for ordinary humans. He abandons a hijacked airplane full of innocent passengers, including families and children, allowing it to crash in flames while watching with a faint smile, then spins the tragedy for political gain. In fits of rage, he uses his laser vision to melt faces or blast heads apart in sprays of gore, such as killing a protester who throws something at his son. Homelander pushes his own young son off a roof to test his powers and forces teammate the Deep to eat his beloved pet octopus alive. He also lasers through Madeline Stillwell's head and face, leaving a charred, smoking ruin after discovering her deception. His evil arises from absolute power without humanity. He toys with lives for amusement or control, smiling through mass death and personal abuse while demanding worship from the world he despises. Judge Holden, Blood Meridian. Judge Holden is a towering, completely hairless intellectual giant who rides with a gang of scalp hunters in the lawless 19th century borderlands. He philosophizes elegantly that war is God and treats violence as both art and natural law. He lures children with small candy treats only to commit unspeakable acts against them, including during brutal raids, he scalps men, women, and even collecting the bloody trophies while viewing the slaughter as scholarly work. He buys 2 puppies from a child solely to drown them in a river for amusement. The judge stages false surrenders with native groups, then guns them down in mass executions, bodies falling amid sprays of blood and dust. His evil is coldly philosophical and detached. He sees all life as mere fuel for endless conflict and dominance, dancing by firelight after fresh massacres with eerie calm. Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Leatherface is a hulking, mentally impaired giant in a cannibalistic backwoods Texas family. He wears grotesque masks stitched from victims' faces and treats outsiders purely as livestock for the family's survival and twisted rituals. He ambushes intruders with a heavy sledgehammer to the skull, the blow cracking bone with a sickening thud before dragging bodies inside. He chases terrified survivors through woods and houses with a roaring chainsaw, the blade slicing through flesh and bone in sprays of blood. Leatherface helps hang victims on meat hooks like sides of beef, where they dangle and struggle, and he skins faces to create new masks as a bizarre form of self-expression. His evil is primal and childlike. Driven by unquestioning loyalty to his deranged family, he turns isolated homes into bloody abattoirs of screams and relentless pursuit. Johann Liebert, Monster. Johann Liebert is a soft-spoken, angelic-looking young man in the psychological thriller Monster. A survivor of horrific experiments, he rarely kills with his own hands. Instead, he manipulates others into committing atrocities, proving that life holds no inherent meaning. As a child, he orchestrated a massacre at the Kinderheim 511 orphanage by whispering manipulations that turned children and staff against one another, resulting in dozens dead amid fires, stabbings, and chaos while he watched calmly from a chair. He murdered his adoptive parents and tricked his twin sister into shooting him, scarring her for life. In the quiet town of Ruenheim, he distributed guns and exploited residents' fears until the entire community erupted into a self-destructive shooting spree, with neighbors killing neighbors and streets running red. Johann's evil is ice-cold and existential. His gentle smile conceals a genius who delights in societal collapse and the destruction of human connections. Walter O'Dim, The Witcher 3 Hearts of Stone. Walter O'Dim, also known as Gaunter O'Dim or Master Mirror, is a polite, devil-like entity who appears as a humble merchant, but grants Faustian bargains with cruel precision across the Witcher world. He always honors the letter of a deal while ensuring the spirit brings suffering. He curses a noblewoman who denied him basic hospitality, condemning her to endless monstrous torment. In a tavern, he freezes time and casually drives a spoon through a drunkard's eye, killing him instantly, then resumes the world as if nothing happened. He grants Ulgerd von Everec immortality and riches, but literally removes his heart, turning it to stone, leaving Ulgerd emotionally hollow and destructive for decades. When debts come due, O'Dim torments souls and forces impossible tasks, punishing even minor defiance with sadistic flair. His evil is sophisticated and contractual. He never lies outright, but his gifts destroy minds, families, and lives while he sips wine and watches with amused detachment. These fictional psychopaths endure because their bloody acts and twisted philosophies expose uncomfortable truths about power, society, privilege, and the darkness lurking in human nature. They force us to wonder how thin the line truly is between civilized facade and monstrous void.